Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. Got a whole bunch of things to talk about today. The Fast and Furious spin-off movie moving to the same day as New Mutants. We got Bad Boys 3 is now officially back on. New trailer for Predator dropped, and a whole bunch more. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, and this is our movie news feed. First up, the upcoming Shane Black iteration of Predator showcased a trailer and footage for the recent CinemaCon in Las Vegas. And this morning, the first trailer officially hit online. The Predator takes the franchise from the outer reaches of space to the small town streets of suburbia. Now, the universe's most lethal hunters are stronger, smarter, and deadlier than ever before, having genetically upgraded themselves with DNA from other species. When a young boy accidentally triggers their return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can prevent the end of the human race. The film is set to hit theaters on September 14th. And I talked about this trailer a little bit earlier this morning on Open Mic. Here's my basic feelings for it. I watched the trailer, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with this trailer. There's no point in the trailer that I go, oh, did they really just say that or do that? Like, there's nothing that was cringy about it or anything like that. Nothing wrong. However, the job of a trailer is supposed to get your existing excitement level for a movie, no matter how high or how low it is, and increase that excitement, no matter how high or how low. And while there is nothing really wrong with this trailer, there's nothing really great about it either. Like seeing Boyd Holbrook in there, I'm a big fan of Boyd Holbrook. Seeing him in there, seeing the Predator again, that's cool. The whole thing about the DNA stuff and how, the Predators are looking for other alien DNA to make themselves even stronger, that's kind of consistent with what we know about the Predators. So my overall feeling on the trailer is, meh. Like, nothing wrong with it, but nothing particularly great about it either. Now, they are officially calling this a teaser trailer, which is appropriate. It's about 1:30 long. I'm going to kind of reserve judgment until we see a bigger, fuller trailer, and then we'll kind of get a better idea about what this movie's going to feel like. Next up, although the film doesn't officially open until May 25th, tonight, May 10th, is the official world premiere of Star Wars Solo in Hollywood, California, and it looks like Lucasfilm is pulling out all the stops. As you can see in this image, they've even appeared to be building a life-size Millennium Falcon on Hollywood Boulevard. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot Chewbacca and encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian in a journey that will set the course of one of the Star Wars saga's most unlikely heroes. And I'm really excited about this. Tonight I finally get to go see Solo. I've been talking about this for a while. The Solo movie, again, was a movie that neither I nor just about anybody else was really asking for. A lot of apprehension about a Star Wars movie with Han Solo that's not being played by Harrison Ford. But I tell you what, I was on board with it because, hey, it's a Star Wars movie. I'm looking forward to it. But it's after the second trailer that I went, okay, now I'm legit excited for it. And now I'm going to go see it in a few hours, at least from when I'm recording this right now. And I'm mega excited for it. I cannot wait to see us. I'm hearing good things coming out of the studio. And here's the thing too. The fact that they are premiering this more than 2 weeks before the film actually opens, and the fact that the review embargo lifts on May 15th, 10 days before the film officially opens, that shows me that the studio has confidence in this film. Now, is it misplaced confidence? We'll find that out. Maybe this movie will be fantastic, maybe it'll be terrible, but it does open tonight. You'll see the first reactions from this movie coming out tonight. Next, in the ongoing tradition of Deadpool movies having the most brilliant marketing, Deadpool 2 has just put out a new video showing soccer legend David Beckham watching Deadpool's one scene where Wade Wilson is making fun of David Beckham and how he talks. Then Deadpool shows up at his house in a desperate attempt to apologize to the superstar. Deadpool 2 is set to hit theaters on May 18th. And this video is hilarious. First of all, just starting with Beckham sitting at home watching over and over again the scene in the first Deadpool where they're making fun of Beckham, and then Deadpool shows up at the house, and then ultimately he's got like this soccer jersey on with the Canadian flag, and he goes, "What do you think I'm here to apologize for?" And David Beckham starts ripping off all the movies of Ryan Reynolds that he doesn't like. It's just a fun, funny piece that epitomizes the whole tone of all the Deadpool marketing from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2. They have cracked a code in many ways of how to really market your film. Now, the interesting thing is this, is that This is a type of marketing that works for Deadpool. This is certainly not a type of marketing that would work for every film, but because of the nature of Deadpool, this style of marketing, these types of videos, I should point it this way, these types of videos, the Celine Dion video, all that kind of stuff, it works perfectly, but wouldn't necessarily work perfectly for another movie of another type, but Deadpool just nails it. Okay, next up, it seems like every few months we get new and contradictory information about a possible Bad Boys 3 project, like it's coming, then it's not coming. But if you're a fan of the series, we've got some good news for you. Bad Boys 3 is now back on the release schedule for Sony Pictures and will, allegedly, hit theaters now on January 17th, 2020. Now, from Screen Rant, Bad Boys 3 was originally slated to hit theaters in early 2017, back when director Joe Carnahan was going to direct it. Carnahan eventually left the project, which resulted in the movie losing its release date altogether, and Sony pulled it off their release schedule. But now, Sony Pictures has hired new directors, and they hope that the film will start shooting later this year. Look, when it comes to Bad Boys 3, I'm kind of in a little bit of a I'll believe it when I see it kind of mind frame, because seriously, how many times have we heard like bits of news over the past number of years? Oh, they're really getting close to a Bad Boys 3. Oh, Bad Boys 3 is coming. Oh, they pulled it off the release schedule. This guy's gonna be it. Now he's not. Blah, blah. Like, we just heard so much about it. Now, right now, they seem to be on the most solid ground they've ever been. They say they got Martin Lawrence and Will Smith back on. They've got new directors, and now they've got a new release date, January 2020. Okay, great. However, I still feel a little skeptical about it. Like the whole kind of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type of thing. It's like, you've got us going with this Bad Boy 3 talk before, only to pull the rug out. So I like the fact that they've got a new release date. That's great. But I'm still a little bit skeptical. I'm going to wait until they actually start shooting this damn thing to really believe it. And finally, we've known for some time that a Fast and Furious spin-off movie called Hobbs and Shaw is on the way, featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham's characters from the Fast and Furious franchise. The film did have a release schedule date of April 13th, 2019, but now it's been bumped a couple of months to August 2nd, 2019. Now, this move creates an interesting situation because August 2nd is also the current release date for Fox's X-Men spin-off movie, New Mutants, and Paramount's Dora the Explorer movie in live action. Now, first of all, bumping the film 4 months isn't really that big of a deal. That's fine. But what is curious here is August 2nd, the exact same day that Fox is releasing an X-Men spin-off film, New Mutants. Because, on the surface, it looks like these two movies could be going after some similar demographics, right? So I do find it a little bit curious. Again, nothing wrong moving it to summer or the end of the summer. That's fine. That's great. Putting it up against some other movies, that's fine. That's great too. 4-month bump, not a big deal. But I gotta wonder, why put it up against a movie like New Mutants? Like, no, don't get me wrong. I think a Hobbs and Shaw movie will be more popular than New Mutants. But still, you got to think that New Mutants would kind of take away some of the attention because, again, at least on its surface, it looks like they could be going after some similar demographics. So a curious choice, whether it's a good one or a bad one, we'll just have to wait and find out. And that'll do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed. And now you are all caught up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news. Now, with that out of the way, we've got some live questions that you guys have sent in. Oh, sorry, live questions later. We got the email questions, the main topics here today. Now, how do you send in an email to be a topic or a question on the John Campea Show? It's simple. You just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less, or else I can't use them at all. All right. Let's move on now to the first email question of the day. And the first email question today comes to us from John Ebarb, who writes, "Hi, John. Love your show. Thank you so much and watch every day. I was wondering if you heard that Rick Moranis is going to do a voiceover in a Goldbergs episode. Got me thinking that with all the success of the new Star Wars movies, is it time for another spoof like Spaceballs? And if someone like Tika Waititi could give us his own version, like the great Mel Brooks. Thanks and keep up the good work." So yeah, last night, so obviously he wrote this email a couple days ago. Last night, Rick Moranis appeared on the Goldbergs, which I have not watched it yet. I just heard he appeared on it doing the voice of Dark Helmet, and I don't know if he was in person or not. I haven't seen it yet, but that excites me because Rick Moranis has kind of stayed away from the camera for a long time. So that's exciting. Spaceballs, to me, is probably the greatest spoof movie of all time. I mean, I just love that movie. It's so good. Should they do another one? I don't know. And here's the thing, you mentioned Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is great at comedy, but I like his comedy. I don't know that I want Taika Waititi doing spoofs. And quite frankly, the whole spoof genre has sucked for like the last 10, 15 years. I don't care if it's the scary movies or Dude, I Shot Your Foot or, whatever, not another teen movie, they all suck, okay? They all suck. You may like them, that's great. To me, they all completely suck. We are not in the era of spoof movies right now. And I think it's going to take a few more years for the stench of just how awful the spoof movies have been lately to ever actually make any kind of... You put out a spoof movie now, everybody's just going to automatically stay away from it. It's a spoof movie. That means it's going to suck. So I don't think it's the time, and I don't think Taika Waititi should use his talents on something like this. Not that it's above or below, it's just that Taika Waititi's got some particular talents with his comedy. This is a Mel Brooks kind of thing. I was open a couple of years ago to Mel Brooks doing another Spaceballs. He decided not to do it. That's fine. I don't know if I want to see anybody else doing it. Who knows, someday it could happen and maybe it'll be great, but as of right now, I'm perfectly happy without it. All right, let's move on now to the next question. And the next question today comes to us from our Patreon supporter, Mickey, who writes, "Greetings from Gibraltar, John. Two of my favorite 90s summer blockbusters turned 20 this year. Deep Impact and Armageddon." Oh my God, talk about feeling old now. Deep Impact just yesterday on May 8th. In your opinion, how do these two movies stand up 20 years later? And which is your favorite? I lean more towards Deep Impact myself. Thanks and keep up the awesome shows. All right, thanks a lot first of all, for being a Patreon supporter, Mickey. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the email. I think, and I don't mean this as a cop-out, but I've always talked about this. I think probably the better movie is Deep Impact. Deep Impact is probably the better movie. But the one I like more is Armageddon. And I know a lot of people crap all over Armageddon, and I get it. I understand why. But for me, Armageddon works. And I find it fun and exciting and funny and warm in the places that's supposed to be warm. And it's one of the last times we saw Bruce Willis actually try and roll and all that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of Armageddon. What can I say? And I think Michael Bay directed it, right? Yeah, there you go. I think Michael Bay directed it. I really like it. I really do. So while I will concede that Deep Impact is probably the better movie, I have a guilty pleasure center for Armageddon. I just get a big kick out of it. And still to this day, whenever I hear, "Don't want to close my eyes," like I just instantly think of Armageddon, right? So yeah, I'm going to go with Armageddon personally, but oh my God, I cannot believe these movies are turning 20 years old. That is like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. All right, let's move on to the final email question of the day. And the final email question today comes to us from George McFearson. I knew somebody named George McFearson. I've seen Infinity War now 4 times in theaters. And while it's not my favorite comic book movie of all time, it is right up there with the best of them. We've all been talking so positively about the movie for the last week, but it's not perfect. So my question to you is this: what is the worst thing about Infinity War? Yeah, so Infinity War's out. Everybody enjoyed it. I love the image that Ray decided to use here. I mean, we're all speaking so glowing. We're just still buzzing about it. We're still in the afterglow of it. It's a great movie. Not also like me, it's not my favorite MCU movie. It's not even in my top 3, but I really enjoy this film. To me, if you're going to talk about, I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about all the great things about it. If you want to put me on the spot and say, what's the worst thing about it? It's kind of a general thing that I've mentioned before, but I'll get more specific with it right now. In general, the biggest problem with Infinity War is that it's overcrowded and it has too much going on. I think the Russo brothers utilize that to the best effect that it can have, but it's still a drawback. Like, it's just too many characters and there's too much going on and there's just too much to do. Now, I've said that before, but here's where it specifically becomes a problem. Where it specifically becomes a problem is like, if this were any other movie without 48 like A-list characters in the movie, you would have taken time. Like, don't get me wrong, I love what they did with Bruce Banner and Black Widow. And this is a minor spoiler, it doesn't give away any plot of the film, so don't worry, I'm not giving away any plot of the film here. But there's a scene where Bruce says, "Hey, Nat," and it's like, "Hey." And it's just that. And I thought that one scene was used very effectively, sure. But in any other movie that didn't have 48 other characters to get to and 5 other locations to go to and 50 other things going on, you would have played that out more. That would have been more fleshed out. Another example, we're supposed to believe in the undying love of Vision and Scarlet Witch. We had a scene with them together sharing a moment. Any other movie that did, I'm convinced that if the Russos didn't have to have 48 characters in there, what the Russos would have done with that is given us more screen time with those 2 characters together so we can feel the connection. Instead, we're just told, basically this is what happened. The Russos, all they could do is go, hey guys, dear audience, these 2 characters, they have connections, so just so you know that. Instead of being able to spend time on it so we as the audience can feel the connection between them and buy into the connection between them. Another place where that kind of, plays itself out is, it's the connection between Gamora and Thanos, right? That connection they have is supposed to become a key thing, but not enough was done in the movie. Like we see in the trailer, there's a scene of him with her as a child. Okay, we see that, but you never showed us anything about why he would have affection for her or why she would have affection for him. You never showed any. We're just, except one scene where she cries. Again, I'm not giving away any plot if you haven't seen the movie yet, so don't worry about it. We see one scene where she cries, but we've never given anything visually to back up or support the fact that she would weep in that one scene. All these are, what's the word I'm looking for? All these are symptoms of the base problem that there were so many characters and so much going on that these types of moments that could have been pivotal weren't allowed to be properly fleshed out for the audience. And in any other movie, if the Russos didn't have to have 48 characters in there, I'm convinced the Russos would have done great jobs with those particular scenes and those particular dynamics, but there was just too much else to do. So Bruce and Nat, after their long separation, get a grand total of 5 seconds to go, hey, Nat, hey, and that's it. They get that because there's no other time to give them. So no other filmmaker could have done it any better because he still had a lack of time, but because too much else is going on. But to me, that is at the heart of it, the biggest problem. Now, all the positives in Infinity War far outweigh that. But if you're going to put me on the spot and say, what's the biggest problem with Infinity War? I will say the biggest problem was as a result of all the stuff going on and all the characters they had to get to, there are several key moments that could have been special moments that were undercut a little bit because there was no time to give them to allow them to breathe and flesh out. So to me, that would be the biggest problem. If you had to say what would you say is the one biggest problem to you about it? No matter how much you like it, what would you say is the biggest problem you have with it? I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Jump down to the comments section below and let me know your thoughts. All right. With that out of the way now, we got time to take some live questions. So we're going to go over to the live questions right now, and we're going to get started off with Degoto1, who writes, will you be able to tweet your reaction after? I am assuming you're talking about the Solo premiere tonight. Yes, the social media embargo for Solo lifts as soon as the movie is over tonight. So as soon as the movie's over, I'm going to be able to come out. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. You can see my Twitter account right there, at John Campea. Just go over there right now and make sure you're following me. I will start tweeting out my reactions to Solo as soon as I come out. The review embargo lifts later. It lifts on the 15th. So a full 10 days before the movie opens, the review embargo list, that's when I'll do my full review. But yes, I will be able to give my impressions, my first reaction to the film tonight. And that'll probably be around, movie's supposed to start at 7. At a premiere, that means 7:45. So I'm thinking it's about 2 hours. So look around 10 o'clock. Around 9:45, 10 o'clock is when I should be able to post. Pacific Standard Time is when I should be able to post my first reaction to Solo. All right, Adam Douglas writes, I know you aren't a big Rick and Morty fan. Just got a 70-episode order today. Exciting for us fans. Rick and Morty forever and ever, 100 years. Yeah, I'm not impressed with Rick and Morty. And to all the people who go, oh, John, you just don't get it. No, I get it. I just don't find it that funny. But hey, that's me. I am thrilled because I got a couple of buddies who love Rick and Morty. And they have been like I've almost had to put them on watch for hurting themselves because they have been devastated that there's been no announcement about a new season and all the drama going up in the air regarding it. I was thrilled today to hear that it got a huge, it's like a 5-season order, a 70-episode order for Rick and Morty. So I was thrilled for my buddies. So I know my buddies love that show. And I'm certainly thrilled for guys like you, Adam, who are big fans of the show. That is awesome news. Like, because I know my friends have been like borderline depressed, going, what the hell's going on with Rick and Morty? Like, they were so mad. And I read that news today. I'm just got to put a smile on my face. Like I said, the show's not for me. I don't appreciate it as much as a lot of other people do, but I was really, really happy for my friends, and I'm really happy for folks like you, Adam, that get to see so much more of this content that you like so much. So I think that's great. Murray writes, until there's a trailer for Bad Boys 3, I have more faith in the Browns winning 2 games next season. For those of you who aren't sports fans, you won't get just how accurate Murray just was. Yeah, oh man, the Browns. The Browns, man. Such a bad team. I was cheering for when we got into the last quarter of the season last year, I was following the Browns, man. I'm just like, come on, guys, win a game. Win a game. I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, but I'm just like, I think everybody across the country was cheering for the Browns. Come on, guys, win a game. I mean, it's just, I feel bad. I feel so bad. Because look, I can relate. I've been a Toronto Maple Leafs fan my entire life, all right? So if you know anything about hockey, you know how hard that's been. So I can totally relate, guys. I can totally relate. And yeah, like I said in the rundown there, I'll believe it when I see it. It's just, I've heard them so many times say, oh, now we got a writer. Oh, now I got a director. We got a release date. Oh, we're pulling the release date. Oh, look, we lost that writer. Oh, look, we lost that director. Maybe we'll do one. Oh, now it doesn't look like we will. Like, I've just seen it. I've heard this song and dance so many times that, again, like I already said, I'll believe it when I see it. All right, let's see. Patrick Conway writes, do you still think Ragnarok is the darkest comic book movie? Well, I never said it was the darkest comic book movie. I said it was the darkest MCU movie. But John, how can you say that? It was funny. Yeah, it was funny, but in content, it was dark. Forget the humor in the film. Thor lost an eye. Thor's father died. The Warriors 3 all died brutally. His sister dies. Asgard gets destroyed. Mjolnir gets destroyed. I mean, as far as content goes, and I've always tried to make this argument, some people just seem too stupid to understand what I was trying to say. John, you can't say it was dark, it was funny. Well, I'm not saying it wasn't funny. Of course it was funny. It was delightfully funny. But in terms of content, it is clearly the darkest film the MCU has ever done in terms of content. I understand. Tone-wise, it was very funny, yes. But mixed in with that was incredibly dark content that I felt gave Ragnarok a brilliant balance, and part of the reason why I enjoyed Ragnarok so much. Then in the midst of this tragic stuff going on, Taika Waititi also kept it light by making us laugh through it, and he just found a great way to do that. But still, there's no denying, content-wise, it's the darkest comic book movie Marvel's ever done. Do I still feel that way? Well, I'm not going to go into the reasons for why my answer is going to be what it is, because that would be getting into spoilers, but following Infinity War, no. I no longer think Thor Ragnarok is the darkest film content-wise in the MCU. I now feel differently. I'm not going to go into the reasons why, obviously, but now I feel differently. Yes. All right. Raymond Vitara writes, DC is dropping a Death of Superman teaser tomorrow. Isn't this the 4th time we see Superman die on screen? Superman Doomsday, Superman Returns, Batman vs. Superman. I don't care. What are we talking about? It's the animated films, right? Hold on a second. Let me just get this thing here. I just want to make sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't give a flying jackass about it. I really don't. I really do not care much. Like I said, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, I don't give a flying fart about either Marvel animated stuff or DC animated stuff. For the most part, I find them all garbage. For the most part, with a few exceptions. Again, with a few exceptions. I'm not saying there are certainly a couple exceptions on both sides that I actually do enjoy, but I don't care about their straight-to-home video animated stuff. I really don't. Thunder Knight 19 writes, I know you're not a big Supergirl fan, that's to say the least. But what are your thoughts on Melissa Benoist in the role? Meh. I don't know. It's difficult. Look, let me just say right up front, it's difficult for me to give a proper evaluation when I so dislike the property. And when I say the property, I don't mean Supergirl. I mean the CW show Supergirl. Not Supergirl in general, the CW show Supergirl. And I've explained a million times why I'm like eternally pissed off at that show. Like, they turned Superman into a jobber. They turned Superman into a jobber. Fuck you. So anyway, there's that. So it's difficult for me to really say. And I never thought the show was any good. To be honest, I never thought it was like steaming piles of hot garbage, but I never thought the show was that good. So it's difficult to look at the lead actress in it and really be able to say, yeah, but she does all right, or no, she's not any good either. It's just too difficult for me to say. It's because I so dislike that show that I think I am not in a position that I can actually give an honest, valid opinion about how I think she does in the role, because I just so dislike the show so much. So I'm going to take a pass on that one, because I don't think I can give a legitimate, honest answer on it. Chewbacca, hold on a second here. Where'd he go? There he is. Chewbacca writes, well, I don't know that I agree. I don't know that I agree. I mean, there are certainly people out there that feel that way, and to each their own. All film is subjective, but I'm going to have to disagree with your third, fourth, and fifth point. Your sixth point, maybe I can get on board with that, but like I said, the first 5 points there, I really don't think I can agree with. But thanks for writing that in anyway. Kevin Laniel writes, I can't wait to not see Italy play in the Netherlands. Deadpool. Totally made me think of you. Enjoy the premiere. Yeah, so for those of you who know what he's talking about, it's that Deadpool Beckham spot that we talked about a little bit earlier. There's a line in it when they're talking about World Cup. He goes, I can't wait to not watch Italy. That's taking a jab, because Italy, for the first time, maybe in my lifetime, for the first time maybe in my lifetime, Italy did not make the World Cup, which means this guy's not watching the World Cup this year. So yes, that was painful. That hurt. I think I'm going to tweet an angry message to Ryan Reynolds about that. Not that he'll see it, but I think I'll try to tweet out an angry tweet to Fox and Ryan Reynolds. How dare you poke fun at the fact that Italy didn't make it, you savages. Anyway, yeah, that hurt, man. That hurt. Patrick Conway writes, deadlier duo, Cap and Black Panther, or Widow and Okoye. Well, that's easy. One of those pairs, both people are superhumans, and the other two are just very skilled human fighters. Both sets of heroes are just superior hand-to-hand combat fighters, but one of those duos also has superpowers on top of that. Super speed, strength, agility, all that kind of stuff. So do I have to say the answer, or isn't it kind of obvious? So yeah, that's where I'll go with that. Canada Rocks writes, better CGI villain, Thanos or Koba? I'll go Thanos. I mean, look, it all depends on what level you're talking about. Which one looked better? Oh, wow. I mean, because Koba was flawless. If you went back in time and plucked somebody out of the late 1970s, brought them here to modern day, showed them that Apes movie, and showed them Koba, they will think, oh my God, how did you train that monkey to act like that? They would just believe it was 100% real. He just looked completely real all the time. So if you want to talk about which one looked better, I'll go Koba, but the better villain was Thanos. One of, if not the greatest villain we've ever had in a comic book movie. Alan Gonzalez writes, have you seen the movie Deep Rising? If it's the one I'm thinking of, hold on a second. Because it's the one that came out roughly at the same time. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this isn't the film I was thinking about. Oh, I take it back. I was thinking it was that underwater monster movie, but I'm guessing it's not. Ocean liner South Pacific is eluded only to battle a series of large-sized tentacle man-eating sea creatures. I don't recall this one. 1998. So it is not the movie I was thinking of. I'll be honest with you. I do not recall this one. So yeah, I guess I have not seen that movie. There you go. Devontae Brown writes, Hobbs and Shaw was originally July, John, 1 month push. I thought, I was pretty sure I read it was April, if it's June, July, whatever. Either way, it got pushed to August 2nd, same day that New Mutants is coming out. Let's see here. Alan Gonzalez writes, spoof movie that I like, Mafia. Don't know it. Don't really know that one. Glitter Geek TV writes, Ewan is going to the solo premiere. Thoughts? Oh, is he going? Well, I mean, that makes sense that he would be going. But look, I mean, we all believe Ewan McGregor is going to be in a Ben Kenobi movie, right? I didn't know he was going to be there. If I bump into him, I will look. You know what? No, I take that back. I was about to say, if I bump into Ewan McGregor, I will ask him if he's going to be playing in a Ben Solo movie. But you know what? No, I'm not. Because I'm sure he just gets harassed by those questions all the time. So if I happen to have the privilege of bumping into him tonight, I'm probably just going to say, Mr. McGregor, love your work, and just let him enjoy his evening. I probably won't harass him. But I'm sure many other people will ask him that question. We'll find out. But probably just another little indication that we're getting closer to a Ben Kenobi movie. All right, guys, just a couple of minutes left here. Dirk Diggler writes, hey, John, I just want to thank you for what you do. And my wife and I enjoy listening to you every day at work and home. Oh, thanks so much, Dirk. I really appreciate that. And you're lucky that you are married to somebody who also enjoys movie stuff and likes talking about movies. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, man. I really appreciate that. And finally, Alex DeEasy writes, how do Homecoming 2 trailers without Avengers 4 spoilers? You know what? I've had so many people write me that. But how do you expect me to answer that without giving spoilers? So I can't appreciate the email, Alex, but I can't answer that because it would be going into spoilers. You know what? I've actually got like 3 minutes left here. So guys, if you haven't sent in a live question yet, don't send in any more live questions. All right. Let me jump over to some of the questions we got coming up here in the companion video that's coming up tomorrow. Dedius wrote, as a fellow True Lies fan, do you think we will ever see a Blu-ray release? I'm dying for an HD version. As somebody who does not own Blu-ray and who doesn't buy discs, I have a Blu-ray player. I have a few Blu-ray discs, but generally speaking, I buy all my movies on digital streaming services now. But I find it shocking that there's not a True Lies Blu-ray. Are you serious? There's got my all-time favorite action film. All-time favorite pure action film is True Lies. I'm shocked if it's not on Blu-ray already. Stephen Rowley writes, it might be me, but I find spoilers don't ruin a movie for me. I still enjoy the movie. Spoilers don't set the mood like the build up to the event. Well, it all depends on what you're talking about when you're talking about spoilers. Like finding out certain things happen in the movie, that doesn't bother me either. But a movie like, say let's take Usual Suspects, right? I'm about to drop the big spoiler for Usual Suspects. If you haven't seen Usual Suspects, tune out now, but the movie's been out for almost 20 years, so shame on you if you haven't seen it. But when you find out that Clint is Kaiser Soze, when you find out that Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze, like if you found that out before the movie, it fundamentally alters your viewing experience. If you find out that Bruce Willis was a ghost all along in Sixth Sense, that fundamentally changes your viewing experience. It's not like saying in Thor Ragnarok, there's this scene where Thor and Loki both confront Hela, and Hela wins that fight pretty easily, and Thor and Loki run. Okay, is that a spoiler if you find that out in advance? Yes, technically that's a spoiler, but that doesn't fundamentally alter your viewing experience of the movie. You know what I'm saying? So there are spoilers, and then there are spoilers. And I think spoilers like Rosebud, like Kaiser Soze, like Bruce Willis, those are the kinds of spoilers that can and do fundamentally change your viewing experience of a movie if you know it in advance. So I got a feeling those one might even bother you too. All right, that'll do it for us today, guys. That's all the time that I've got. Again, tonight, it is solo premiere night, so make sure you're following my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. I'm going to be posting pictures. I'm going to be posting my reaction. And just like I did for the Infinity War premiere, when I get on the red carpet, hopefully cell signal is good. I'm going to stream some live videos so you guys can see the carpet. If you remember, I did that for Infinity War. A lot of you guys seem to like it. So I'm going to be streaming live video from the red carpet Probably be about 5, 6, 7 minutes long, whatever, because then they make me hand over my phone when we go into theater. They do not let people bring their phones into the theaters. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that will do it for me for today. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.